You should make Faye
Tuning
bring you to
in
Walmart
from
to get
Planet
one.
Earth.
Yeah.
Welcome here.
Yo, Faye. That's the type of person who would definitely help you out with that too. You know what I mean? What's good?
I was like, hey girl, hey, bring me to Walmart.
Hey, girl.
And we're live tuning in from Planet Earth. This is the Talking Fruit Bowl, aka the Peripheral, episode 3. We are joined here with the good man Ryan, Connor, Eric, and I'm Mark.
Hello world.
What's up?
Glad to be here.
Today we have a large spread. I'm about to show you the spread.
There's the spread.
Connor drops his mic.
Hold it.
Oh, you said some dope shit.
He's
That's why I
bringing it
dropped my
back
mic.
though.
Bringing it way back, like snapback back, like Wiz Khalifa with the snapbacks before they were even back behind the back.
Don't fuck with me, man.
I feel like we should just watch this whole endeavorment. I feel like that's the move right now.
Should we announce what's going on?
Connor, abruptly putting the client back on the table.
A wild Connor in his natural habitat.
Yes, yes.
Connor is currently having trouble
Eyes
clamping
full of
his
stress.
clamp back onto the table. We are going to give you a quick play-by-play of the action.
Oh my god, look at that wrist. 45, 45.
Unable to
There's a
turn.
lot of forearm going on in there.
Tension from the table.
You can tell he's a righty.
I see some tricep.
Tricep.
Some tricep. He's working it.
Really? Tricep. You see some tricep in there.
I see him working it.
Oh, mate, that really does have a lot of tricep in there now that you mention it.
Yep.
I honestly don't think I've ever seen tricep used.
Good. I think you're gonna break
Wiggle that.
everything on the table if you do that. Yeah.
Give her a quick wiggle. Make sure she's sturdy.
Connor, why are you so mad, bro?
Bro, I'm fucking heated right now.
Over these Bengals!
All right, we're back in it. We're back in it.
Yo, where'd you get that shirt, bro? Connor.
This one,
Yeah.
dude, it was at that it was at this place in the mall that was like one of those like stores that only stays open for like a month. You know what I'm talking about?
What?
I forgot the name of it. You
One of those stores only stays open for
You
a
guys
month.
know what I'm
Was it just,
talking
like,
about,
a
though?
shitty store?
Like-
yeah, no, it wasn't the greatest. It was literally for like
Seasonal
I
store,
thought you
maybe?
meant like that was the intention of the store. Like we're gonna
Oh,
open
yeah.
for a month and that's it.
that's a crazy idea though.
You could probably make some good money. It'd be like Supreme though, if you think about it, because I mean they only sell limited shit, and then they're
That's true.
You can't go on Supreme.com and just
no, they shut
Dude,
the
what
site
if you
down.
just
They,
called outlet malls, right?
Just
And
pop-up
you were
stores?
Like, hey man, I'm gonna be in New York next month. You know, do you have any fucking availability? Like any open stores? Let's just pop in.
My
sell
name's
some
Mark.
shit.
Like,
You know?
let me sell some shit at your reputable place.
Yeah.
Hey, don't question
I'll pay
where
you
I got
once,
this
right?
shit. What the shit? If it's actually real, don't ask for to see any real
You gotta
tags.
think about like the logistics though. If you're being honest with it, because it's like you gotta move all your crap in there. You gotta do all like
you're
the
gonna need to
advertising.
rent like a U-Haul or something.
Yeah.
This is the man right here when you're talking logistics.
I do work in logistics.
Tell the people what you do.
Yeah, where are you working?
I work at Old Dominion, the finest freight line around.
We're gonna owe him $5,000 now for marketing.
Out of curiosity, does anybody have a vape?
No.
I didn't bring it because I didn't think Judy and Dave would approve.
I
So
had
left,
a jewel.
left her in the car.
Oh, that's tragic. Can we go out and smack her after?
She is fully primed.
Oh,
primed.
wait. Like a cheap hooker, just always ready for a quick hit.
Yeah.
Best kind of hooker.
So that's where I got the shirt from though. I forgot the name of the store, but it was like store in the mall.
Where? Oh, it was in the mall.
Yeah, it was like
Oh, is it like one of those stands?
no. It was like an urban store. It was right next to
Urban Outfitters.
Nah.
They sold T-shirts and indoor flowers.
You know that jewelry store on the corner of like the huge.
And-
The
mansion
one with
in
the
mall?
Jesus pieces. The Jesus piece with the diamonds and the rubies and the motherfucker.
Dude, I don't remember where it was, but it was in the mall.
That was it. They didn't sell shorts or socks or anything.
Just-
T-shirts
and
and
Jesus
planes.
And then shirts with pictures of plants on them.
Mm-hmm. It's a new
Plants with
market.
Pictures of
you know?
shirts.
Yeah, definitely a new market.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
They like to tap in. They're they're kind of revolutionary.
They sell what they can.
Whoa.
Peddler of many goods.
Peddler of many goods.
Oh man, that kiwi. I recommend you try.
I've never had kiwi.
You never had kiwi? This isn't the ripest of kiwi.
It's not the ripest of kiwi. Is that what you said?
No. I bought kiwi specifically for
That's
this
pretty
day.
good. That's pretty good, man.
And that's Connor's reaction.
That's pretty good. Honestly, pretty good.
Connor's stamp of approval. We thank you, FDA, for bringing this wholesome food to us.
Please sponsor us.
Please sponsor us.
We get sponsored by the FDA.
We're just saying,
what a
like,
weird thing to be sponsored
we're putting
by,
on
right?
ads for Cialis and shit. In between breaks. Like,
I would love to. I would definitely do that.
Yo.
You know, 1 in 5 men
Real
suffer
talk.
from erectile dysfunction. I don't like them odds.
You ever done Cialis?
No.
It's a blast.
I bet.
It's a blast. All
I
right,
bet, man. Corking the bat's always nice.
story time. Ready? There's this 50-year-old dude that I work with, right? Clearly, the man's got dick problems because he has dick pills
Boing.
all the time.
oh, I know.
He's got him in his back
Yep.
pocket.
Yep.
Dude, he sells them. He sells 5 for $20, which is a really good deal. But he makes these pills
It is.
himself. It's
What?
Cialis,
What?
Viagra, and one other drug. And
Goes
he,
down- goes
he
down to the
cuts them
farmer's
all
market.
open, gets his own capsules, puts all 3 drugs in them, and then sells them to people.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I bought 5 from him. And I did them when we were in St. Thomas. And I don't think I need to say
Sorry,
much more.
Sandy.
They're fucking awesome, man. Yeah, oh yeah.
I feel
Rock
like-
hard.
Real-
Rock hard. Like, fuck.
I got there. Everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Neil's like, hey, babe, stand over there. Let's see if I can get you.
Have you ever hit it with a proper dismount, though? That's my question. What do you know about the dismount?
Were there any side effects? Anything that
Well, my palms were pretty sweaty.
You know what?
Gonna
though?
grab onto anything.
out of the ordinary? After?
No.
He's getting
But
lightheaded every
Sometimes
stroke.
it was too much. Like,
Yeah.
my dick was so hard.
Yeah.
Like, so hard.
I can't imagine putting a pair of pants on after that.
Dude, it's like we bone, and then I'm just laying there hard as fuck still.
Yeah.
Did you get a migraine from it?
No, like
I'm
I'm
just-
good. There was nothing like that, but it was just like annoying. So, like it was like, hey, want to go to the beach? It's like, yeah, give me 10 minutes here. I inject with a needle, and let the blood out or something. You know, it was wild.
See, I've been hard to the point where I've gotten a headache, and so like,
Healthy.
yeah, bro. So like, you're sticking it in. It's like.
Sound effects, mate.
Do you have any Advil?
Oh my god.
Oh, that's
I
terrible.
hope Joe's tuning in. I really do.
Poor bastard.
0 viewers, man.
Yo, V.
So
It's sad.
What were we talking about? We were talking about.
I had the idea of talking about how do people come up with some inventions? Like we were discussing the light bulb. Like how do you possibly think that just curving some wire and just putting it in, I don't even know. I can't
I
even
don't
explain
either.
it because I don't know how to make a light bulb.
See, I don't think that it's just curving a wire. I think there's some kind like that wire in it is like a special strip, like almost like magnesium. Like you know how magnesium and zinc react and you get the light.
Yeah,
It would be something along that lines.
I guess
Whose
like.
fucking idea was it though?
Yeah,
To
exactly.
go out in a lightning storm and hold this fucking thing up in the air. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's got to do it first. Until you see Larry die from it, it's okay.
Have you ever seen the Ancient Aliens? You guys ever watch that?
I love the dude with the
Good
crazy
show.
hair.
Yeah, dude. Like he had one thing, and like
Excuse me.
we're definitely not like I'm not an expert, but like he was talking about like this ancient battery from like Mesopotamia. It's batteries area. Yeah, right. Anyways, nah, but like these people had come up with this battery in like the time of like Jesus or before or something like that. And it was like a rudimentary battery, but it really worked. And like archaeologists found this thing, and they were like the whole thing was like, yo, how did they come up with it? And like their point was like ancient aliens. That was a theory, you know what I mean? Because it's just like how do you just sit in your whatever they were living in at the time, just like oh, I'm gonna maybe fuck with this, you know what I mean? Like how does that even work?
Well, there was galvanizing back then too, so they were doing some high level chemistry. Like chemistry's been around for a very, very long time. I wouldn't imagine that like the fact that what's it called with batteries? What's that chemical reaction called?
Alkaline?
I don't think that's it. I think that's a type of metal.
Yeah.
But like the chemical reaction that takes place with like the reversing and the I think it's the electrons. Like I'm assuming something around that has been known for a long time. Not electrons, but like the fact that certain chemical reactions take place in the like.
I see what you mean. I guess it's not too far fetched to suggest that it's just like it happened. I just think it's an interesting
Think
idea to
about
toy
it,
with.
though. Like on the path of ancient aliens. Think about the fucking pyramids, dude.
Yeah, dude. There was this one like.
Have you guys heard theories about like how they were made, like ancient aliens and shit like that?
Yeah.
Fucking. I don't know.
I got one thing to follow that up with. Not to completely change the topic, but apparently, can you be Jamie today? Can you look something up for me? There's this bolt that's like 1,000,000 years old. It was carbon dated, and it's like this metal bolt. Type in oldest bolt found or 1,000,000-year-old bolt.
Million, like what do you mean a bolt? Like
Like
Yeah,
something.
bolt.
Yeah, like you would screw into,
gotcha,
or like
gotcha.
you would socket wrench into something. I know you would know what that is more than most people, but
That's crazy.
like, I think it was actually carbon dated for like 1,000,000 years, which is
That's insane.
That is fucking crazy.
That's insane.
that's basically the time that people were walking around basically monkeys. We were basically monkeys, eating shrooms. 300 million year old bolt.
Wow. What's it look like? Is there
And
a
we're
picture
in
of
the
it?
year 2019.
It's ugly, man.
It's ugly.
fucking
So,
crazy.
It was found in 1998.
wow.
Wow.
300 million. Now, if you look back, the oldest like ancestor to humans, it's called Lucy, and they found it in this cave. I wish I was smart enough to remember where they found her, but they were listening to the song "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds," and so that's why her name is Lucy, and it's like it was like the missing link and yada yada yada, and she is how old? How old is Lucy? Anyone?
I have no idea, bro.
I have no clue.
Didn't they find her in France? So I took an archaeological class in Oswego. I don't know,
Not a
one of them.
clue. That could be it, but I think it would be Africa. And
Might have been after.
it was 3.2 million years.
And that thing's 300 million? No way. How's that even possible?
So we're talking fucking 100 times the oldest like humanoid ancestor.
Dude, I don't know. I could totally see
That
aliens
doesn't
having
make
messed with
sense.
our
Yeah,
history.
like, Ancient, like, well, I don't mean to cut you off completely, but like the ancient Sphinx, at its latest is dated 20,000 years. Like the Sphinx in Egypt.
Yeah. Like compared to Lucy, that's not even that old though.
So this is what the bolt looks like. If you can just. It's 300 million
God.
years old. How did they make this? How is that? That is not.
That's not like nature.
nature.
Made. Yeah.
That's too perfect. You can literally
Huh.
see, like, where you would fit the socket over it.
That's
300
crazy.
million years ago.
That is
Just for the
fucking
people who don't know, 150 million years ago, humanoids separated from lobsters. So 150 million years ago, we were lobsters, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that confirmed?
That's, I mean,
The
Yeah.
closest thing to
Theories.
confirmed?
yeah.
I mean, all
Like-
science is just like, you know what I mean. They have evidence
Theories,
to
I
support.
guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, you want to put that back up so it's not hanging down? Thank you.
That's nuts though. Like I could totally like. How could you explain that any other way other than aliens or other than some extra like something we don't know about?
Humans, bro, and just civilization keeps fucking destroying itself.
What if it
restarting.
What if it was just another generation of humans? Like
That's
just
what I mean.
literally just like people that were so advanced they just left. They were
Yeah.
already here once. They realized that this
Or that.
Earth was going
Yeah.
to shit, and they were like, "Fuck it, we're out."
There was this I saw what was the author's name? I think his name was Graham Hancock. I think his name was. But he has this theory.
Good memory.
Yeah, he has this theory that there was this lost civilization, and I'm totally could botch what his theory actually is on this. I'm not an expert, but
no experts.
Yeah, if I remember correctly,
This
it
is
was
just a
something
lot of
like
internet research.
it was something like
That's a big
Late
secret
night
what
on
we got.
YouTube.
nah. He was thinking that they found all this stuff in the Amazon, right? You know how like they're tearing down parts of the Amazon to like do whatever with it.
You know how much medicine they're losing by doing that?
Yeah, he was saying that like basically the soil in the Amazon is really bad. That's why farming with it is just a terrible idea. It's just bad soil. And they started finding, as they uncovered more and more parts of the jungle, these huge I forgot what the names for them were, but they were like drawings in the earth. So these people would make like these like hills that were like narrow, basically like a line, and they would make these huge geometrical shapes, like the sides like football fields, like squares inside a perfect circle or vice versa, this and that. Like perfectly straight shit that was pointing like true north, like not magnetic north, like astronomical north.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, so that indicates that they had astronomy. And
How old are these?
dude, that's something I don't know. You could look them up.
What's it called?
Look up Graham Hancock's like Amazon drawings, Earth drawings, or something like that. I don't even know. But basically, as they're uncovering more and more parts of the jungle, they're starting to find these things, right?
Do you want to be research guy? You want me to?
I mean, you got your iPad, dude. That
Yeah.
would help to show people.
It's
you know?
slow as hell, to be quite honest with you. Though it's only on 10%.
Oh, word.
We're just gonna rock with
You
the
got it,
phone,
Mark.
then keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
But nah, either way, but like, it was crazy. And he was talking about these people. He was like scientists were questioning like, how did these people live in the Amazon, and why the fuck would you pick that place that's so like hostile to humans? And he's like, the Amazon is one big, what did he call it? He was like a garden. You know what I mean? Or like a greenhouse. He's like, literally, like, humans went in there, and we start to see, like, through the record of time, like, certain trees, like, took over, and those trees would, like, grow fruit and stuff that was beneficial to humans, or this or that. And, like, we saw more and more of those trees planted in the area. So, like, literally, like, these humans found out that, like, these trees or whatever were like, okay, this is a good fruit, so let's go and take it and plant it all over the Amazon. And now today, like, in present time, like, those trees are all over, you know what I mean? And they found out that they, because the soil was so bad, these dudes would make their own soil, like through this method, like, yeah, they would like burn part of the earth, like use some form of like composting and some shit like that, and like they made their own soil that was actually like rich as hell, and like they tested the actual soil and they like brought it out to like a desert type environment, and that shit like grew grass immediately. Yeah, dude, this is all like in the Amazon. Shit's crazy.
Go one more time on that.
What? Which
I was
part?
just reading that last statement.
Yeah. Okay, so like the soil thing, is that what you're talking
Mhm.
about? Yeah. So like they figured out that they made their own soil, like through method of like burning and this and that, and like composting, and they like figured out that like they made their own soil in the Amazon to be able to farm. And this like basically he was culminating it to like in the 1500s there was this one explorer, and he came through the Amazon, right? And he claimed that he saw, this was before Columbus, he claimed that he saw mad people there. Like huge like civilizations, like cities the size of like London back then. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Yeah, dude. And then they took off or whatever, and they
At
came.
what age?
This is probably like in the 1500s,
Okay.
maybe. Then they left, right? And then they came back, like Spanish conquerors came back or whatever, and all those settlements were gone. And this dude's theory was like they weren't really gone. It was just the jungle had basically overgrown them because they had all died out because of disease and crap like that. And so he was like, I believe that there was like a lost civilization that like placed humans in the Amazon for whatever reason. Like they were told to go there, or they were like basically like dropped off there, if you will. You know what I mean? Because it's like, why else would humans just like, yo, there's that huge jungle. I'm just gonna go in there and live there. Like the fuck, you know what I mean? Like if you're moving in, you know what I mean? Because it's like that was the other thing we read was like the whole theory about like humans basically started in Africa. You know what I mean? Everyone has their roots in Africa if you go
Right.
back far enough. I don't know, man. Shit's crazy though.
That is fucking wild.
Do you imagine? Like,
No, absolutely
No.
not.
No.
No.
imagine if like humans were like dropped off here. Like, yo, like you just like a
Yeah.
ship landed, dropped off like fucking
Yeah.
100,000 humans in Africa, and then
later.
peace.
Yeah. That would be so weird. Like, would they even speak the same language as us? Would they be the same type of
Well, what?
way that we are? You know what I mean? Like, would they look at things the way we look at things? You know what I mean? Like,
So I just read this. So We were taught in school that the Americas were the last great land masses of the earth to be inhabited by humans, who were thought to have arrived exclusively on foot from the Northeast Asia around 13,000 years ago by crossing the Bering Strait, which formed a land bridge to Alaska during the lowered sea levels from the Ice Age. By contrast, automatically modern humans originating in Africa are believed to have reached Europe, Asia, and Australia as far back as 60,000 years.
Damn. No.
Since the recent publication in Nature of landmark research in Southern California, scientists have begun to realize that something of immense importance is missing from this long-established picture. Though the general public has not been kept well informed, it now appears that the Americas were first populated, or were first peopled. I wouldn't write it like that.
Populated. Maybe it's English or something like that.
We're building new words around here.
Peopleated.
At least 130,000 years ago. They say that America.
That's crazy. Dude, that was the other thing he said. This one author, again, I'm doing a terrible job of quoting him, but he was like, yo, the Amazon is like the last place on Earth, other than, I don't know if Antarctica is the other one, that's like completely has never been archaeologically explored. He's like, and that's a landmass the size of India. He's like, so basically that's like saying, yo, we did archaeology all over the world except for India. And that's what the Amazon is. And so, like, as they're starting to, like, peel away the jungle, they're finding all this crazy shit because it's, like, no one...
That's insane.
Right? And it's like, imagine what's in there, man. It's just some crazy...
I mean, the Amazon alone is just insane. There's so many... Have you seen, like, some of, like, the life that comes out of there? Like, there are... I was watching this, I think it was River Monsters. It was on...
Crazy show.
Love that show.
Yeah.
That's a great show.
Yeah, and the dude, what was his name? Something Jeremy? Anyway, he pulled out, like, this huge...
Big fan. Sponsor me.
Huge ass stingray, dude. Like, it was insane. Like, it was bigger than this table.
A megalodon.
It was huge. He just reeled it in too.
That's in the Amazon, man.
Fucking wild.
And like, I feel like you would never even see something like that.
Dude, I feel like if humans just took off from the Earth, I feel like you would, like, in fucking, like, 50,000 years, you would see crazy life just everywhere. You know
Well,
what
I would
mean?
argue in 50,000 years, you're just going to see crazy life.
No.
I think we tried big. Like, the Earth tried being big. We tried dinosaurs. Now we're going to start getting smaller.
I think so.
I wonder what type of impact if we left our civilization, everything, we just dipped. I wonder what kind of instability it would cause in the world. You know what I mean? Because we're part of the food chain.
We are not part of the food chain.
Or not the food chain, but we're part of, you know, the cycle of everything.
I don't know if even instability would really be the right word. I bet we're realistically, I think we're probably like the cancer for Earth. We were brought around to almost be the end of it, so we could.
I completely agree with that.
If anything, I would say the Earth is here for humans to destroy.
Dude, have you ever, there's this one theory, it's like a scientific theory, I googled this shit because I watched, fucking Avatar, and like, dude, I like that movie, but, like, the whole thing is, like, the whole planet is, like, one living thing with that huge fucking mother tree in the movie, you know what I'm talking about? And I googled it, and it's, like, it's literally called, I think it's called the Pandora theory, maybe, I could be completely wrong, but it's this theory that,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah, like the Earth is literally one big organism, and these dudes took this like computer program, and they like basically it was like a simulation, and they could simulate like a planet and all its different like weather, this and that, where it is in the solar system, shit like that, and they found out that like they put this planet in the solar system with a sun and everything like normal like Earth, and they would plant either white or black flowers on it or whatever. And they found that if they planted white flowers, then the temperature would rise or whatever because the sunlight would be reflected, and maybe it's vice versa if they planted black. I forgot. But either way, like depending on the color, the temperature would either rise or cool. Probably black. But then they found out that like no matter what amount of random, like say like they would put like fucking 99 times the amount of black to 1 time, white. You know what I mean? Just completely out of balance. and they would find that no matter what, over time, the planet would eventually balance itself out, so there was 50-50 of each. So they would just live in like harmony, and so like these people related it back to like that's volcanoes, that's earthquakes and shit like that. Like that's the Earth, like
Yeah,
basically.
that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you gotta think. I believe. I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever had this theory, but the Earth technically could be one living organism. And you have the fucking core, which is like so hot we can't even fucking drill into it. You know what I mean?
dude.
That's like the heart.
We can't even drill past the crust, man.
Right.
We can't get anywhere near.
Bro, what's the farthest down we've drilled? Can you Google that, Mark? Dude, I think it's only like a
I don't
few
think
miles.
it's very far.
Yeah, it's not that far at all. Which is nuts.
Yeah, the crust is the thinnest layer, and we can't even break through that.
Dude, what if there's some like Godzilla type huge ass animals buried down there, like fossilized? Wouldn't that be crazy?
You guys seen Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Deepest
Brandon Fraser, yo.
Yeah.
deepest drillings, the Kola, Kola, super deep borehole in Kola Peninsula of Russia reached 1,226 or 12,262 meters, 40,230 feet deep.
Damn.
I'm gonna check
What
out
is that,
deep.
like a mile?
40,000.
Mm-hmm.
1 mile is 4,000 feet,
Like
roughly.
10 miles?
5,200, I think.
So 8 miles down, roughly, something like that.
10. Probably around 10.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's nothing though,
No.
if you think about it.
Absolutely nothing.
How thick is the fucking Earth? Does anyone know, like, rough estimate?
That's actually fucking incredible.
What's up?
What's that?
So I'm gonna pull this up right here. So if you check,
Wow.
so
Yeah.
there's the hole that it was. That's the Mariana Trench.
Wow.
Wow.
We dig pretty deep.
Look at Everest over there on the left. That's nuts. That's insane.
Ooh.
Ooh. Here's my backpack, everybody. Yeah.
Oh, no.
All good.
That wasn't nice.
Dude, that's crazy though.
Ugh.
I don't know, man.
So we have done pretty deep.
I guess so.
Right, you know, getting halfway there. But all honesty, not even fucking kind of close.
No.
No.
Those holes we were digging in your backyard, Connor, to China, didn't even get kind of close.
We got pretty far though. Just want to say, got to
Yeah.
we made it to South Korea, but couldn't make it to China.
We were enslaved for a couple days. That's why we're pretty skinny right now.
Shit happened.
Just got back.
Shit happens.
Where did that saying even come out from? Or
Shit happens.
No.
I was gonna say.
Digging a hole to China.
I don't know, man.
Like, think about that.
Probably because directly on the other side of the Earth, or close to it anyways, is China.
That doesn't make sense though.
Well, if you dig straight, you go, well, you can't dig, but if you go straight down
You
through
take
the
a
Earth,
ball.
you go to China.
Yeah.
You know?
So did you see it? Did you see that thing that Joe was talking about with what was it? Green or Australia? Australia on a map is shown to be almost the size of South America.
I thought it was Iceland or Greenland. I thought it was Greenland.
Netherlands. Is that it?
I really thought it was Greenland, man.
Oh.
That makes sense, because it's all spread out up there.
It's awesome. Hey.
Giggity.
I love a good spread.
Me too.
Spread those cheeks.
I don't know, man.
Sorry.
What was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say.
Huh.
Like this helicopter.
Australia.
Was it Australia?
I feel like it was, dude.
It's the same size as South America.
No way.
Or it's
It
drawn
has
on
to
a
be
map
this.
To be so.
It's Greenland. It has to be Greenland.
Yeah, see, I thought it was.
Oh. Okay, Connor. Okay.